Hello. We're continuing with al-Qalqashandi on the Kingdom of Kanem Borno. Today's reading will be the letter or correspondence from the ruler of Borno to the Mamluk Sultan in Egypt. Let's begin. On correspondence emanating from the ruler of al-Borno. The form of his correspondence is it is written on square paper in a hand like that of the Maghrebis, and if any of the correspondence is left over, it is written on the back. The correspondence is opened with an opening address of praise to God. Then it proceeds to the subject matter with the phrase Gwabad Dak, and after that, and completes it. I saw that he closed his correspondence addressed to the Sultan's court by saying, "Peace be upon those who follow the right way." It would appear that was ignorance on the part of the secretary of the rules of the secretarial art, since they have no guidance as to the correct ones. This is the text of a letter which came to al-Malik al-Zahir Abu Sa'id Barkuk. It arrived during 1391 to 1992 in charge of the ruler of Borno's cousin with a present. It was prompted by what is mentioned in it concerning the Arabs of Judam, who are his neighbors. It is written on square paper with lines side by side in a Maghrebi hand, without margin at head or side. The conclusion of the letter is written on the verso at the foot of the page. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. From him who trusts in God, who is exalted, the most mighty king, the sword of Islam, Abu Amr Uthman the king, son of al-Hajj Idris, the lamented Amir al-Mu'mineen, may God ennoble his tomb and perpetuate his descendants in his kingship. These words come by the tongue of our secretary, who is of our family, without boasting. To the mighty king of Egypt, God's blessed land, mother of the world. Upon you be peace more fragrant than pungent musk, sweeter than the water of cloud and ocean. To proceed, we sent to you our ambassador, my cousin, whose name is Idris bin Muhammad, because of the misfortune which we and our vassal kings have experienced. For the Arabs who are called Judham and others have snatched away some of our free people, women and children, infirm men, relations of ours, and other Muslims. Some of these Arabs are polytheists and deviate from true religion. They have raided the Muslims and done great slaughter among them because of a dispute which has occurred between us and our enemies. As a result of this dispute, they have killed our king, Amr the martyr bin Idris, the son of our father al-Hajj Idris, son of al-Hajj Ibrahim. We are the sons of Sef bin Diazan, the father of our tribe, the Arab, the Qurayshite. Thus do we register our pedigree as handed down by our sheikhs. These Arabs have devastated all our country, the whole of al-Borno, up to this day. They have seized our free men and our relatives, who are Muslims, and sold them to the slave dealers of Egypt and Syria and others. Some they have kept for their own service. Now God has placed the control of Egypt from the Sea of Aswan in your hands. These our people have been seized as merchandise, so pray send to all your territory your emirs, ministers, judges, magistrates, jurists, market overseers, that they may look and search and discover. If they find them, let them snatch them from their hands and put them to the test. If they say, "We are free, we are Muslims," believe them. Do not take them for liars. When the truth is clear to you, release them. Restore them to their freedom in Islam. For certain Arabs cause mischief in our land and do not act righteously. They are those who are ignorant of the book of God and the sunnah of his messenger. They embellish that which is worthless. So beware of God, fear him, and do not abandon them to be enslaved and sold. God, who is exalted, said, "And the believers, men and women, are protecting friends of one another. They command the right and forbid the wrong." And God, who is exalted, said to his prophet, peace be upon him, So judge between them by that which God hath revealed, and follow not their desires. And God, who is exalted, said, And if God had not repelled some men by others, the earth would have been corrupted. He, the prophet, peace be upon him, used to say, The Sultan is God's shadow upon earth, to whom everyone resorts who has suffered wrong. And he said, The Muslims are like a building. They will bind each other till the day of judgment. And he said, The believer is the believer's brother. He will not wrong him nor forsake him, etc. It says in al-Hikmah, It is a duty to enjoin the right on everyone who is vouchsafed authority on earth, by which he meant sultans, and on those who are within reach of it, by which he meant judges, governors, and emirs. If he cannot command it, then let him enjoin it with his tongue, by which he means faqirs and scholars. If he cannot, then with his heart, by which he meant the generality of Muslims. May God prolong your days in the land, restrain the Arabs from their debauchery. God, who is exalted, said, As for those who strive in us, we surely guide them to our paths. And lo, God is with the good. He, the prophet, peace be on him, said, Each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock. It says in al-Hikmah, But for the Sultan you would eat each other. And he, who is exalted, said to his prophet David, peace be on him, O David, lo, we have set thee as a viceroy upon the earth. Therefore judge aright between mankind, and follow not desire that it beguile thee from the way of God. Lo, those who wander from the way of God have an awful doom, forasmuch as they forgot the day of reckoning. Peace be upon those who follow the right way. It is undated. Continuing onwards, there's a brief passage on correspondence emanating from the king of Kanem. We'll read this section. I have not found any correspondence of his, but it is likely that correspondence from him is similar to correspondence from the ruler of al-Borno, for he is near to his kingdom, and God knows best. And of course, the reason al-Qalqashandi could not find correspondence from the king of Kanem is that the king of Kanem was actually the ruling dynasty of Borno, which by this time had relocated the center of their political activity to Borno. We will end here with this rather lengthy letter because we believe it to be a rather important and fascinating document attesting to relations between North African and Egyptian rulers and their counterparts across the Sahara. It's also interesting in the sense that it provides one of the few surviving ancient letters from West African rulers abroad. We will continue later on with additional readings on the history of Kanem Borno from the corpus of early Arabic sources for West African history. Thank you very much.